All right, so picture this. Okay, a spoonful of plastic.
Mm.
But it's not just any spoonful. It's in your brain.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, I know, right? Kind of freaky. But this is the reality we're facing. According to a new study, we've got these tiny pieces of plastic, nanoplastics.
Right.
They're showing up in human brains. And the crazy thing is the amounts are increasing, like, rapidly.
Yeah, that's definitely a concerning trend.
So we're talking about a study that looked at autopsied brain tissue.
Right.
And it compared samples from 2024 to ones from 2016.
Yeah.
And you know what they found?
What'd they find?
Way more nanoplastics in those more recent samples. I mean, significant increase.
It is pretty remarkable how much the levels have gone up in just 8 years. It really makes you wonder what's going on.
Yeah, it's definitely a red flag, isn't it?
Hmm.
And they weren't just in the brain either, this study.
Yeah.
They found them in other organs too, like the liver and kidneys.
Right, yeah. Those are our filters.
Exactly. So what does that tell us? I mean, finding them in the liver and kidneys.
Well, it could mean our bodies are actually trying to get rid of them.
Oh, okay.
Like they're recognizing them as something that shouldn't be there and trying to filter them out.
So our bodies are fighting back? It's kind of reassuring in a way.
It is, yeah, but the problem is we don't know how effective that process is, long term.
Right. Can they keep up? And what happens if they can't? I mean, these organs are vital.
Exactly.
They're not invincible.
No, they're not, and that's what's a bit worrying.
Yeah, and going back to the brain for a sec, the study, it found this connection, this correlation between higher levels of nanoplastics and dementia.
Right.
So does that mean, like, straight up, the plastic is causing people to,
to lose cognitive function?
Yeah, to have cognitive decline.
That's the big question, isn't it?
Yeah.
But unfortunately, this study doesn't really give us a clear answer on that. It could be, it's possible that dementia itself makes the brain more vulnerable, like maybe it weakens that blood-brain barrier.
Oh, interesting.
So it could be that the plastic is getting in easier because of the dementia, not the other way around.
I see. So it's a chicken or the egg kind of thing.
Exactly. Yeah, we need more research to really tease that apart.
Okay, so regardless of what's causing it,
right,
the fact that these things are in our brains, it's just creepy.
It is concerning.
It is. Like, how are they even getting past that blood-brain barrier?
Yeah.
That's supposed to be like Fort Knox.
It's a pretty impressive defense system. You're right.
Yeah.
It keeps all sorts of harmful stuff out of the brain.
Right.
But these nanoplastics, they're so tiny.
Oh.
And they have these unique chemical properties that, well, we think they might be able to slip through.
Oh, so they're sneaky little buggers.
Kinda, yeah. Or another theory is that they might be hitching a ride on other molecules, things that can cross the barrier.
So they're like little stowaways. It's tricking the system.
That's one way to think about it.
It's unnerving. It really is. And while scientists are still figuring out all the details, we know they're there and they're increasing. So Is this dangerous? Bottom line.
Well, we're still early in the research, but
Yeah.
there's a lot of concern, and for good reason.
Okay. Why?
Well, one of the biggest worries is that nanoplastics can act as carriers for other harmful stuff.
Oh, so it's not just the plastic itself.
No, it's like they're little Trojan horses.
Oh, yeah.
Carrying things like BPA, phthalates.
They're bad, right?
Yeah, they can mess with your hormones. We call them endocrine disruptors.
Right. And I've heard they're linked to all sorts of health problems. So the idea of those things getting into our brains,
Which is definitely not a good thing.
No, it's a nightmare, really. So what can we do? I mean, while we wait for the scientists to, figure all this out.
That's the million-dollar question.
It is, yeah.
And while we don't have all the answers yet, I think the most sensible thing is to just try to reduce our exposure to plastic.
Okay, that makes sense.
Especially those single-use plastics, the ones we just toss after one use.
Right. So like using reusable bags, water bottles, that kind of thing.
Exactly, and avoiding microwaving food in plastic containers.
Oh, right, yeah, because the heat can make things leach out, right?
It can, yeah. So those are all good steps in the right direction.
So every little bit helps. I mean, it sounds like this is a pretty big, complex problem.
It is.
Not just about individuals making changes.
No, we need systemic change too,
Right, like reducing plastic production in the first place.
Exactly, and finding sustainable alternatives.
Right, yeah. Got to tackle it from all angles.
Definitely, it's a multifaceted issue.
Well, this has been a lot to take in.
It has.
Really eye-opening. I mean, what's the biggest takeaway you want our listeners to walk away with today?
I think the most important thing to remember is that this is just the beginning.
Of the research.
Yeah, we're just starting to understand what nanoplastics might be doing to us.
Right.
And the fact that they're showing up in our brains, well, it makes you wonder what else is going on, you know?
Oh, yeah. Like, what other impacts are they having that we haven't even discovered yet?
Exactly. And that's something that needs a lot more investigation.
It's a scary thought, but I guess knowledge is power, right?
Absolutely. The more we know, the better equipped we are to protect ourselves.
Exactly. And for all of you listening out there, you know, stay curious about this.
Yeah.
Keep learning and making those informed choices about your plastic use.
Every little bit counts.
It does. And let's all do our part, for ourselves and for the planet. So thanks for joining us today.